this is Dylan Joe for Dining Out Jersey, and today I'm at the Dojo with Mike Romanelli, and we're speaking with the legendary comedian and heavy metal enthusiast, Mr. Jim Florentine. How are you, Jim?
I'm doing good.
Nice, nice. So I have to tell you, when I was little, my brother and I, we used to watch Crank Yankers until my parents came in and caught us watching it, and they were just like a bunch of puppets puking all over the place, and then they're like, "Oh, what the hell is this going on here?" So then they had to turn that off, and that was pretty much my introduction to you. Thank you for that. But for those who don't know, just let me know, what are your comedy origins, and like, did you have a specific icon or inspiration, like an Uncle Floyd or somebody that got you into stand up?
No, I was just, I wanted to get into radio, and I started doing a little radio, local stuff, and then I just realized I couldn't say what I wanted to say. So I decided, let me just go up on stage. So I was always like making jokes in between the songs and stuff, and I was like, let me just go up on stage. I could say whatever I want. And once I did it one time, I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. I just, went from there, never stopped.
A lot of prank calls and stuff like that. I remember listening to you on the Opie and Anthony show too. But some of those pranks, are some of those set up, or are they all pretty genuine? I remember there was this one with a prank where this guy, he was like a caller that won 100 grand. That was what he was supposed to win, but it was actually a candy bar, and then the guy freaked out.
I wish that was my call. I don't know who did that. That's a funny idea, though. That wasn't me. All my stuff is 100% real. They're incoming telemarketer calls where I mess with telemarketers.
Yeah.
I don't know who's calling. I answer to any name. It's usually sometimes it's wrong numbers. It's an old number. I have friends that have businesses that I say, hey, if any telemarketer's called, here, give them my number. So my phone constantly rings. Still, I'm the only one I think with a landline in America left. I still do them to this day.
Yeah. You recently just did one with you and Don. Just put one out not too long ago, right?
Yeah, and we're working on a new one now too.
Yeah.
So we're up to about, we did 7 different albums of pranking, messing with telemarketers. We're working on volume 8 now.
Yeah. What was the last one called, Jim?
Volume 7. They're very cleverly titled.
No, but what do you
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Terrorizing telemarketers.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. Terrorizing telemarketers is great. Dylan, it's awesome.
And you animate those too, right?
Yeah, I got a guy that animates certain calls that look good visually and stuff. So, and that's a guy from, if you're an Opie and Anthony fan, Coke Logic.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does them for me.
I saw one of your most recent clips. With every single response that you gave, you just said,
yeah. That's like when someone's talking to you and you don't care what they're saying. You're just like, I've been doing it for years. Just like mumbling, like, who cares? And the guy got very annoyed. He was like, I don't know what means. It's great when they could repeat it back.
Yeah. Well, that's what they get. So I'm thankful that you're out there doing that to them.
Nobody feels bad for a telemarketer.
Yeah, that's right.
They deserve it.
Yeah.
Jim, wasn't Eminem's a big fan of Special Ed? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Like, right? I remember that. Like, you know about that? Eminem's like a huge fan.
Well, yeah, he was a big fan. He was a big fan of Crank Yankers. He used to watch it with his daughter, and then he wanted to be on the show. And his manager, contacted Comedy Central and Crank Yankers, said, "Look, Eminem wants to be on that show, and he wants to do the calls that the guy does, that Special Ed and Bobby Fletcher were those 2 my characters." He's like, he's got a little time, so come. He wants to be on the show and be in Detroit in the studio in like 3 days. It happened that quick. Next thing you know, we're on a flight out there doing calls with him. It was awesome.
It's so cool.
What connected you to the Dojo of comedy, and what do you enjoy most about performing here?
What I enjoy most about performing at the Dojo is the food.
Nice.
The chicken quesadillas are phenomenal. No, when Mike started it, I don't know how many years ago it was, I just saw that he had a passion for comedy, and he treated comics with respect, and it was all about the comedians, and it wasn't about selling food or drinks or any of that stuff, which most of the clubs are like. They don't care to give away free tickets just to get asses in the seats. And he was working with Sam Tripoli, a friend of mine from the West Coast, and I've known Sam forever, and he's turned the room into an unbelievable room. It's amazing. The place is great. Everybody raves about it.
Yeah, I agree. That's what you need in a comedy club, is just people who actually appreciate the actual comedy and not trying to make money off of the whole thing.
Yeah, you need an owner that really gets behind is comic friendly, and not so much, the customers, I got to worry about my customers, not the comics, which that's a lot of places like that. And giving all these young guys, these up and coming guys, a place to perform is huge in this business, that they can develop, which is great.
was telling Dylan that, like, I tell everybody this, but I was telling Dylan that you were one of the first guys, like, bigger names. It was really you and Artie, and you stuck around. And the early days, I would ask the headliners. A lot of times it's just you or Bob Levy or Boss, and I would ask you guys, like, what can I do to improve? And one thing that always stands out to me is when you were filming your last special you did the night before, you did a rehearsal here, and you had your whole team going over the jokes or whatever, and you wanted to talk to me about, because I always ask for how to fix the room. And from that night, I'll never forget, you let me know that we messed up with the check spot. Like, you were putting together your last bit, and whoever we had working up there, they're putting out the checks right in that last 15 minutes, and it really messed you up. And I completely changed how we drop checks here from that one day. And it's like those little moments of when comics I really respect give me the feedback. There's been little changes that have happened in the dojo that have made the experience different for the comic, for everyone. Just made the show so much better. So I'm sorry, I'm sorry I messed that up, but that little piece of information you gave me has changed. I mean, people think like we have some magic secret here about how we do something. It's nothing. We just do the checks at the end of the night when the headliner's off the stage. And it was just such a big piece of information. But that's the little stuff that, like, I'm just so lucky that I have been working with so many greats, and you guys care about the place enough to give me the feedback, because you could also just come in, take the money, and leave. But none of you guys have always helped me along the way. It's been really awesome, and together we're just making this room a great place for you guys to work for, like you said, comics like yourself or the up and coming people. That's what we do.
It's amazing that, like, I don't know when it was, way before I started doing comedy, maybe like 1981, like the first improv opened, and they decided to put the checks down like 15 minutes left in the headliner's set. So now they drop them all at the same time. So nobody is paying attention to the stage. It's the craziest thing. Like, if you ever went to a movie and there's like 15 minutes left in the movie and it's coming to a climax and the ending and you're figuring all the plot twists out, and then all of a sudden someone comes by, okay, I need $15 for popcorn. Here's this. Hey, can I pay with a credit card? Yeah. Okay. How much is it? Yeah. You give me $5, and no one's watching the screen. Yeah. And that's comedy clubs that open today still do that. Will drop it because they're afraid that a customer might leave and not pay a check at the end of the show. And it's like, well, figure it out. Somehow. We'll just drop them at the end of the show and make sure nobody leaves. That's it.
Yeah, so, something so simple, but it makes perfect sense. Like you said, like, you're tying that whole thing up. That whole hour is for that last, 10, 15 minutes, and we just fucked it up. Like, so it was just such an eye-opener. And, yeah, man, it's just little things like that. And I'm not going to, I make no illusions. I came into this, I think I'm going to my 9th year. I feel like I'm 9 years in comedy. I didn't know what I was doing. So when I hear these little things, it's like, oh, it's so obvious, but I need to hear it from, a headliner or somebody that's doing this all the time. And just, that's what I try to do here. Just make the experience for you guys the best possibly can. So we put on the best shows.
No, and that's why you get acts like Louis C.K. coming in there, Joey Diaz, Mark Norman, because they know it's a real comedy room. You're not going to drop the checks in the middle of their set where no one's paying attention. And now whatever bit they're in, it completely falls apart because no one's even looking at the stage. So that's why you get good comics that want to come in there and work out in that room.
Yep, exactly.
And so you're going to be filming your special there on December 26th and 27th.
Yeah.
And what is that going to be called? Do you know what it's going to be called yet?
No, I don't know yet. Usually it's some line from my set, or maybe it's not even. So I don't really know yet. Yeah, there's no real theme to it. It's just basically jokes. Sometimes you have a theme to your special, but this one doesn't.
Nice. I'm going to have to bring my family to come see that. Whenever I drive down to my grandparents' house, they live down in Hazlitt, so I'm on 35 and I'm driving and I see all these clubs. They're all strip clubs now, but back in the day they used to be rock clubs. And I live next to this town called Palisades Park, and there's a gym there now. It's called the Fitness Factory, but back in the day it used to be called the Soap Factory. And there were like a lot of rock bands that played there, like Aerosmith and like all these huge bands that used to play there back in the day. And since you're from Jersey, I was wondering if you have any crazy stories that you could share about going to some of those places.
Yeah, I didn't live up North Jersey, like Cliffside Park area, until later on in life. So I wasn't going to the Soap Factory, but there was a place called the Fountain Casino in Aberdeen on Route 35 South. It's a wedding hall now. They used to have all the Aerosmith, Twisted Sister, Motorhead, all those bands used to play there back in the day. And then as far as on Route 35, yeah, it was all strip clubs. Like regular clubs that you would go to. So one of them, the strip club, 35 Club, used to be a rock club called Art Sox Playpen. That's where originally I started doing comedy. On Monday nights, I'd run an open mic night. And that's how I started getting into comedy and stuff. And I worked as a DJ during the day and stuff. So, no, been to plenty of those strip clubs, spent a lot of money, got a lot of lap dances, and it was a great time.
I want to ask you, being a connoisseur of metal, I need to hear your take on this. And this is going to be like a real like metal nerd question, but on the surface, bands like Iron Maiden and Anthrax and Metallica, they seem like they're all promoting like chaos and evil and stuff like that. But I think like in between the lyrics to some of these songs, like you listen to Hand of Doom or After Forever, like Black Sabbath, you realize they're kind of like cautionary tales almost, and they relay a message that's either anti-drug or anti-war or even like pro-religion. So I'm trying to convince my priest that it's okay to wear concert tees to church. So I want to hear what you think.
I went through that my whole childhood because I went to Catholic schools, and also my mother was super religious, and I'd have to convince her that I would put on the song After Forever. I go, Mom, listen to the lyrics. And I put on a song called The Thrill of It All by Sabbath. That was another like that was the first like Christian rock song after Forever, if you think about it, 1971. Yeah. Because Black Sabbath was getting they had like Satanists and stuff like that, and the occult, they were showing up at their shows, like, hey, we're gonna have a seance after the show. Like, but we just wrote scary music. What are you talking about? Like, that was crazy back then, like early 70s. So Geezer Butler wrote the lyrics to that, goes, look, I want to let people know that we're not these, Satanists and stuff like that. And we believe in God and religion and all that stuff. So, and yeah, a lot of songs, anti-war, War Pigs, Hand of Doom, all of that stuff. So, it was tough because, I remember being in a car buying the Highway to Hell album, and my mom seeing Angus with the devil horns and Highway to Hell. She's like, you can't bring that in the house. And I'm like, it'll be all right. Worry about it. It's fine. But yeah, and Ozzy with the cross on Blizzard of Oz. So I went through a lot of crap. But they were just doing that to, they were being rebellious. The parents hated it. That means the kids loved it. That's always been the case with music over the years, since the 50s with Elvis Presley.
I'm lucky in that sense, at least. My dad is probably around the same age as you, and he brought me to a lot of concerts when I was younger. So now it's like I could actually take him to some crazier concerts than his day. Like I've taken him to see Gwar on Halloween one time, and it was pretty nuts.
Yeah, Gwar's great.
Yeah, I used to go travel, see Gwar everywhere. I knew Dave Rocky for a bit.
Have you ever been to the Gwar-BQ in Virginia?
No, I never done that one before, but I've seen them plenty of times.
Yeah, me too. They almost lit Starland Ballroom on fire once when I was there.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, the Slymentra, she was playing with the fire, and the whole ceiling just kept singeing and singeing. It was wild. And actually, no, it wasn't Starland. It was Stingrays. Remember Stingrays?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the girl's name in Gwar?
Slymentra Hyman.
Okay, yeah. So
Danielle was a real name.
Down in Asbury Park, I think at the Fast Lane, maybe, and she gave birth to a baby, and they put it through the wood chipper. It was beautiful. Went right into the wood chipper.
Yeah. You know, it's so weird. She was like, she was either her mother or something lived in the town that I grew up in. So I'd see her at like the CD store, and she was so normal off stage. It was so strange. It was just like you would not guess that was Slymentra Hyman if you saw her just like at the CD store.
I don't know if I would recognize without the makeup.
No, I don't think you would. And it's like she's also not like, she wasn't back then. Like she didn't look like a crazy chick either. She's like a regular chick in the 90s. It was fun.
Out of all genres of music, I think that heavy metal probably has the best album cover art. So I want to ask you, what are some of your favorites? Like your top 3 Desert Island records, would you say?
Not necessarily the cover, just or records.
The cover, and then maybe after the content of what's inside of it.
Man, Motorhead Ace of Spades is iconic.
Yeah.
Ozzy Blizzard of Oz, the first, his first solo record, iconic. Then you got Iron Maiden Killers. That was the second one. Oh, the first one's great too. The Killers, he's got the machete in his hand.
Yeah.
So I would go with those 3.
Nice. Yes. Thrash metal has like really cool cover art. That's something that I just, out of all genres like pop and, rap, and you look at their cover art and even some classic rock, like even Led Zeppelin, there's a lot of cool photos and stuff, but I think out of, artwork, the metal has the best.
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes I remember buying, before I could even know what the band was, I'd buy it just from the album cover. I'm like, this has to be good.
Yeah, I remember doing that with, I think it was it Warrant? It was not, they weren't the best band, but the art was so cool.
I have to ask you some food questions. So my hometown is famous for old school classic restaurants like Hiram's, White Manna's, and the late great Callahan's hot dogs. After going on tour, like when you're traveling around and you come back, what are some of the go-to restaurants that take you back home?
Well, since I grew up in like the Old Bridge area, and for years they just had a bunch of like shitty chain restaurants. You can never get really good food. There's a couple good pizza places were decent, Palumbo's Pizza. But then all of a sudden, the Staten Island and Brooklyn people started moving to the area.
Yeah.
And they just bought amazing Italian food. And now you don't even have to go in New York City. You don't have to go to anywhere. You don't have to go to Brooklyn. You come right here, and there's great bagels, pizza, and the Italian food is phenomenal. So everywhere you go, the food is phenomenal here. And they got rid of all the Applebee's and the Chili's and the Fridays and all that crap. Finally.
Is there a specific place that you have now that we could still go to today?
Alnita was a place in Marlborough, New Jersey, which is great. That's a really good one. And there's a place called Cousins, also in the same town, is great too. Great Italian food. And a lot of characters in there. Good people watching.
Always characters in Jersey.
There's a dining out specific question that we kind of have to ask everybody. You call it Taylor ham or a pork roll? And people fight over that question. Like, what do you call it? Do you call it a pork roll or a Taylor ham?
I call it disgusting. Both of them are disgusting. I don't know anyone that eats that. And whenever you go, oh, you got to have a Taylor ham, a pork roll. I go, no, I don't know anyone in New Jersey that eats that at all. Maybe it must be a tourist thing. The same thing with the White Castle. There used to be one. It's still on Route 9 in Old Bridge. It's been there I used to live right behind it for a while, and nobody went there unless you were really drunk and it was 3 a.m. and you had nothing else to eat. But everybody that came from another state go, I got to go to White Castle. I go, good, go there, because I never go there. I've never been in the Taylor ham or the pork roll. I think it's gross. And I seriously, I've lived in New Jersey pretty much my whole life, and I don't know one person that eats it.
You know what, Jim? My buddy's a truck driver. He's been here about the dojo. He's a friend of Sam and I. So he's passing through, comes to see me. It's like early in the morning. I go, well, we're not open. I'll take you to this deli. I got the best Taylor ham. So he doesn't know what it is. I order it. I go, wait, what do you think? He goes, you basically just gave me a fucking Spam sandwich. What the fuck is this?
Yeah.
He was so. He goes, you've been talking about this. And all right, I'm done with the Taylor ham. When he said it was a Spam sandwich, he goes, the bagel's great, but.
Yeah, no, and someone brought over an egg sandwich the other day. We were watching football. A bunch of people came over, and I was going to eat one, and I looked at it. I saw the pork roll on. I just ripped it right off. My friend's like, you got to eat the pork roll? I go, no, I'm not eating a pork roll. It's gross.
Speaking of White Castle, I don't know if you know this, but if you go to White Castle and you bring a date on Valentine's Day, they actually offer table service. And they make it pretty fancy over there.
I guess my wife knows where she's going.
Listen, I mean, if you could pull off bringing a date to White Castle on Valentine's Day, marry that woman the next day. That's a keeper.
Yeah, you need to marry her 100%.
Yeah, marry her in the White Castle. Don't let her get away.
There you go. Jim, I can't wait to have you here December 26th and 27th. We're going to film it. Yeah, I was telling Dylan, you always pretty much, seems like it's always December's when you do your weekends here. You're here a lot on Wednesdays, and you pop in on Joey's shows and other shows, but it's always an exciting time when you do your weekend here. Now we're going to film it. I can't wait. Yeah, man, thank you for your time. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so I'm definitely going to be here on either the 26th or the 27th to watch that taping too.
Right.
So that'll be cool.
Right.
All right.
Alrighty. Thank you for your time.
Thanks.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Talk to you soon.